Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin. Big CoinsKid crew. So right now the CBBI is currently sitting at 26. I do anticipate this needs to come back just a little bit more, and that's where we'll find a lovely little sweet spot for Bitcoin. Hopefully, like this breakout here that went to 29, it came back to the low 20s. If we can get some kind of ABC in here over the next sort of few weeks here for Bitcoin, holding a key level support, which I'm going to show you, then I think we're looking good for continuation right there for Bitcoin. Okay, so I do think, it has been my sort of forecast for the past couple of weeks that I do think we are going through an ABC correction, a macro correction, potentially some kind of wave 2 before an explosive 3. So until we lose key support, I think Bitcoin is bullish and you're looking for continuation. Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now, okay? So quickly before we dive into the Bitcoin chart right now, I'm just taking a look at the DXY and the weekly time frame. This is one of the charts that I drop into you for the videos, just for confluence of my potential analysis on Bitcoin, whether it's going up or down basically. And you can clearly see here, we flipped red way back there in 2020, just prior to the death cross just there for the Gaussian channel on the DXY, just there on the weekly Gaussian channel. This is an amazing indicator, and not a lot of people look at this indicator. We've been looking at this for a very, very long time right now, and you can clearly see you got the close below the weekly Gaussian, which led to that downtrend, coming down as key level support, and then you got your double bottom down there, flipping green. And it's when you start to get back through the Gaussian that the DXY was bullish, and the inverse was that Bitcoin was bearish and coming down the stairs basically. Okay, and that's exactly what's happened. So the inverse of that right now, we created that big monster overextension from the EMAs and the top end of the Gaussian, bit of greed in the DXY, very crowded trade. Like I said to you at that point, you met the 1618, and right now you come in for some kind of correction, aren't you? So until this reverses and starts to say the correction's in basically by creating some kind of bottom down here, getting its ass back above, flipping green like it did there, then for me this is still in a downtrend, and we just got to respect the data basically right there. So we've got 1 day 15 hours left, and you can clearly see at the moment we're losing the Gaussian like we did just there. Okay, literally on the death cross, look at that, literally on this death cross. The very similar situations happening right now. So again, data not emotion, and with that we just continue to come down the stairs here for the DXY. Okay, so the bottom could be in for Bitcoin. Obviously, we could have had that correction, and right now we're coming up with stairs impulsively. But one thing I want to see here in the DXY is just a continued breakdown. And if we do start to see the loss of this low and a big God candle like we got there on that death cross as well, just stay under this and don't get back above it. It's until we flip green like we did there, then you're creating that reversal structure in the DXY, which is the reversal top structure in Bitcoin. And I will keep you updated as best as I can. But so far, so good. This is breaking down. We've got a death cross, and it looks like it's still coming down the stairs. The minute it switches, I will alert you, okay? Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now. So looking at Bitcoin on the 5-day time frame, then one thing I'm going to do with you going forward is just purely respect the data. And it's all a learning curve, isn't it? People say data not emotion, and I absolutely believe in that. Okay, just there, if you take a look, we've got the cycle top indicator and we've got the cycle bottom indicator. But in each instance, this indicator is not actually being true, is it? Because what we've got here, if you take a look, we came down, made a higher high. So everyone was saying that this cycle top indicator was a load of poo. At that point, we come back down and got the cycle bottom indicator, but we lost a low. So again, everyone down here was saying it was a load of poo. So maximum bearishness and depression and maximum FOMO on an indicator was actually true. On an indicator that right now is actually true, isn't it? So going forward, that could actually be some kind of bear trap, okay, and that could actually be some kind of bull trap. So going forward, there's no reason to think that we're not going to get something like that back down to the opposite signal, which is a cycle top in reverse basically, because what we've done, we've put in a cycle bottom indicator, and right now we're just waiting for another cycle top indicator. So again, data not emotion. Let's just respect the data going forward. I know he says, she says, macro, things like that, but the whole way down here I said to you, I'm ignoring the macro because the macro is absolutely awful. But at the minute I just think Bitcoin's in a correction and we've got to respect the data. So this is why, if you go back to the videos just there, once we got the close below the Gaussian on the 5-day time frame in a death cross after hitting the resistance of the medium line, I said to you Bitcoin's looking at capitulation, and what we're going to wait for is the cycle bottom indicator. Okay, we're going to wait for that, and it was looking to print. We're sort of looking at it, and I think we're calculating the 18th of June. At that point, it's been absolutely fruitful so far, minus the bear trap obviously. So not just Bitcoin, altcoins, Ethereum, Chainlink, lots of coins at this point have still held their lows. Now that point is getting up to almost a year away now. We've been in this point for almost a year. So for me, the data is actually still ringing true at the moment. So again, data not emotion. If you clearly look, data told us there that was a top, data told us there was a bottom, data told us that was the actual top, and right now data has told us that's the actual bottom. A lot of confluence with the altcoins, the likes of BNB, Ethereum, Chainlink, and all those other coins right there. Okay, so again, I can't guarantee it, but so far so good. We respect the data. We're busting a move. We're getting our ass through the Gaussian right now, just like we did off that bottom, and then we got a V-shape and just off we did off that bottom as well. So right now, what we're looking for, if Bitcoin is just in the 4-year cycle, in theory, where we should find resistance is on this red line. Okay, so in theory, Bitcoin could consolidate, break towards that red line, and then come in for a big correction, potentially leading into 2024, at which point people get ultra bearish again. Okay, but at that point, what you're doing is pretty much what you did off this low: bust into the red line, come back, then your parabola begins. Okay, so bust into the red line, come back, then the parabola begins. So that's one possible scenario if you just send this 4-year cycle. But the other scenario is the fact that we've got an impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, corrective wave, and right now we're forming a massive monster impulsive wave. Either way, where will I sell my Bitcoin? Okay, so there's two scenarios basically. If we get something like this where we run into the red line and we create a bearish reversal pattern, some kind of descending triangle, and we begin to lose the EMAs, because you can clearly see currently we're holding them. The minute we begin to lose EMAs like we did here, we're looking at a correction. I will absolutely jump ship at that point and buy Bitcoin cheaper, and I will try and calculate at the time where I think the correction is. Okay, but at the minute, let's just respect the data, not emotion. Not because he said, she said, or whatever. We should have respected the data there, and absolutely respected the data just there. Okay, for Bitcoin, data, not emotion. Not because he said, she said, or whatever. Not because you feel this or feel that or whatever. It's the data. And again, just there, this was a fantastic area to sort of jump out of Bitcoin at the point I actually did. But I did buy back here, to be honest with you, and I rode it up. And then as soon as we've got the breakdown here and we drop, I actually jumped Bitcoin at this point and I bought back here. We came up and I hold my hands up. I always tell you everything I'm doing. We come back up here like this, lost this low. And at that point, I did say to you, if we lose this low, I'm going to jump ship, because Bitcoin's not respecting the data. Okay, and at that point, what we did, we came back down. As soon as we got the jump and the beautiful ascending triangle above this level of resistance, I actually come back into Bitcoin. It really is that simple. Okay, so I just didn't want to hold on to basically a falling knife at this point if Bitcoin wasn't respecting the data. And you can clearly see I actually wasn't respecting the data, was I? Because I fell into the bear trap just as we fell into the bull trap just there, because I wasn't respecting the data. So going forward, like I said to you, it's just a learning curve, and what I'm trying to do is relay to you the one thing that we need to do on this channel as a community right now is just respect the data. So right now there's two scenarios, obviously. Well, there's 3 scenarios, isn't there? We could just drop like a stone and have another impulsive move to the downside, then the data is absolutely not true and Bitcoin's in trouble, and the macro is an indication of that. Or obviously we run into this red line of resistance, come back in a lower level support for the next sort of year, accumulate again at these levels like we did here, not taking out this size anytime soon, and eventually when we get our ass back above that red line just there, that's when we're looking at a parabolic move here for Bitcoin. But I think we have got a beautiful count, to be honest with you, in the sense we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we could be looking at a parabola, some kind of big final fifth wave. Where will I sell my Bitcoin? When we get the cycle top indicator again. Okay, so when this red line crosses a green line on this moving average, on this indicator, the Bitcoin super cycle indicator, at that point we'll create a big red cycle top up there, and I will absolutely jump ship at that point. Okay, and I'll bring it up to your attention when we do. So what's this indicator called? It's called the Bitcoin super cycle indicator. It's a free indicator. It's an amazing indicator. So far so good. And again, let's respect the data, not emotion. So going forward, like I said to you, I think that Bitcoin potentially run into a brick wall. We're going through some kind of ABC correction at the moment. Providing Bitcoin can hold the support, we're looking pretty tasty, okay, for Bitcoin. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Remember, nothing I say is financial advice, but please remember, going forward, let's just respect the data, okay? Take care, everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye-bye.